Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast, this time recording a review of the Tom Baker story, Phantoms of the Deep. Phantoms of the Deep is the 5th release in this series. Now, as War of the Land and the other one were all one, this is kind of the 4th story. The next story and, well, the next release and the one following it are both make up one story as well, actually connected to the earlier two-parter, which kind of makes this one story number 4, shall we say. Phantoms of the Deep. Now, Phantoms of the Deep, when I was listening to it, rang some bells. It reminded me very much of a Radio 4 Torchwood play. Now, when Doctor Who copies from an external source, we all kind of nod and go along with it and go, oh yes, homage, pastiche. But when it appears to copy from its own texts or ones connected, it kind of rings alarm bells. It felt, while I was listening to it, as if the writer or somebody associated had listened to the earlier Torchwood story and gone, I can do this a bit better, and then promptly done so. Now, being the arrogant swine I am, I mentioned that on a forum, and because a forum is the equivalent of shouting into an empty room, you're never quite sure who's listening. The author appeared. I sweated. The author said they've never even heard of the Torchwood piece and had no idea about it, and didn't know anything about it at all. Which is absolutely fair enough, and I totally believe them and totally understand this. But for the sake of argument, let's look at some of the similarities. It's under the sea. Well, as 2/3 of the planet is located under the sea, that's perfectly acceptable. The aliens, which are under the sea, affect the surrounding wildlife and have also captured a submarine which has one survivor on board who should be long dead and has kept them alive for their entertainment. Now, in the Torchwood story, it's a unit submarine who goes down to investigate in the Mariana Trench, but here it's a specialist submarine set in the near future. So there's your similarities. However, this is a Doctor Who story with Tom Baker. You're going to have funnier lines, more characterisation, more perceived worry. With a Torchwood story, you always have an underlying fear of something else going on, but here, no, you've definitely got a Tom story going on. It's remarkably good and very, very, very well executed. The acting is top-notch. The sound design is great. I just couldn't get the original Torchwood story out of my head. It's not important that they've got similarities. Hell, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea managed to have the same plot constantly for about 3 years, so we can just ignore that if you don't mind. It's structure, location, but not content that's similar. The content is very, very good. It's nowhere near as good as the last release, but as the last one had steampunk robots, which ticked so many of my boxes, it's unbelievable, I can't possibly comment. Mary Tamm manages to pull off something great, and K9 is definitely a bonus to the plot. So if you want to go about and get it, go for it. You might as well be a completist, own them all. It's Mad Uncle Tom. But if you're saving your money, perhaps you need to save it for something else, because next time there's Daleks.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Fourth Doctor Adventures, Phantoms of the Deep.
Depth 5,000 metres and counting.
What is it, Chris?
I can see a little hut with police box written on it. At this depth, it should have been crushed.
Crushed? I landed a TARDIS in the heart of a star once, barely dented the paintwork. This is Romana.
Hello.
And this is my other friend, K9.
K9? Oh, because he's a dog.
Yes, he is.
Hang on. Are those lights down there? Pulsing, flickering lights.
It is a communication directed at this craft. It is a warning.
A warning?
The squid say that if we continue, we will all die.
This police box of theirs is taking up valuable storage space. Stick it in a sample cage and send it up to the surface.
You sent my TARDIS up to the surface?
Don't worry. It won't be damaged.
That's not what concerns me. Without the TARDIS, we have no way of leaving this submarine. And now the radio is down, we have no way of calling for help.
Look! Another submarine!
Design corresponds with military vessels dating from the year 1940.
Subscribers get more at bigfinish.com.
On Saturday the 31st of August 2013, Hooverville 5 will happen. Located in Derby's The Quad, that's in the Cathedral Quarter, one of the best Doctor Who conventions in the UK will happen. Small scale, yes. Intimate, yes. A damn good laugh, most certainly. As well as the obligatory podcasters, this year's guests will include Graham Harper, Simon Fisher-Becker, Kevin Davies, and Alec Wills. More guests are sure to be announced very shortly. For more information, check out thehoovers.org.uk, and to buy tickets, visit derbyquad.co.uk. That's derbyquad.co.uk for more information. And if you're attending, be seeing you. You've been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its connected properties are copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. Whostrology, a Time Traveller's Almanac, is available through Telos Publishing or Amazon. Visit www.whostrology.com for further information. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.